Shadow of Mordor. Huh. It felt like a playground with a little story, but the playground had the same few toys, so each day I returned to it, I was limited in how to play. There were many side missions, artifacts, orc battles I could have chosen to engage in. I decided not to, and to stick to the main story. The main quest felt like it had very little weight, and the side missions felt like they had even less. If it wasn't gold on the map, I tended to ignore it. The character controls felt wonky, turns felt slow and indirect. There were times I wanted my character to jump off the ledge, and instead it would grab it. Other times, I want to grab the ledge, only for my character to jump down. I rarely felt like I knew exactly where I would jump. Few indicators helped me understand where I would go. At first, I felt like I wanted the world to always be open, like I could just stumble upon a war chief and take him out sneakily. Then I realized you need to do these little missions. The little missions could be interesting, but also felt like they took away from my power of choice. It didn't feel open and lived in anymore, it just felt like a puzzle, which it is, I guess. Further taking me out of the living, breathing world was the cutscenes. They have weather and time of day, so if I started it on a rainy night, a few frames later, during the cutscene, it could be a sunny day. I found missions where one outpost had two war chiefs back to back. After finishing the first mission and watching all the Uruks scatter, I started the second mission, only for them to completely forget I had just slaughtered their camp. Shadow of Mordor offers you an opportunity to make each war chief fight easier by first going on these submissions, which you take out their bodyguards. I found a routine for branding and killing war chiefs that did not require this. I didn't even bother with defeating their bodyguards first. I was able to just take each bodyguard out one at a time with the stun move, and then the sword flurry. That would chip away some health. Then I would hide, rinse, and repeat. All the bodyguards would come to me instead of me having to go to each and every bodyguard. It became boring and repetitive. The war chiefs would be slightly different, with different weaknesses, though almost always the stun and flurry rush solved my problems. Except for one. What made no sense to me was one boss that couldn't be killed by combat. So I would have needed to harm his whole health some other way, like waiting long periods of time for him to naturally cross into explosive areas, if the camp even had enough. It turns out that was my nemesis, the first chief I had defeated. Perhaps he had earned plot armor. None of my moves hurt him anymore, though I could still find him in the world. This felt wrong. Why give me a quest to kill a seemingly unkillable war chief? I think the concept attempted is interesting, setting up the world so this random hierarchy of a large variety of options shifts and you can affect the shift. I found it cool how the war chiefs I captured mattered in two final battles. Glad I got good ones. The final fights felt weak. The war chiefs alone were harder. The tower was easy. Stealth was easy for me. The talons took 2 tries. They took my Caragor quickly. I did not like how I couldn't stun and flurry them with their shields or jump over them, and then I realized, well, I have this power-up, if I shoot their legs with my skill, they'd be stunned. And then it's back to stun, flurry, rinse, repeat. Stunning their legs helped a lot in the late game, especially for fleeing enemies. Overall, it was an acceptable game. I did not love it. I did not really like it. I'm not even sure how much I liked it. I can say I didn't hate it. I don't feel spurred to play the sequel, which the lackluster ending suggests. And that was my impression of Shadow of Mordor. After all that trekking with Celebrimbor, I'm a bit bored of the rings.